Hello, everyone. We're going to allow everyone to join here, and I'm going to wait till I hear myself talk here to ensure that you all hear me nice and loud.
Hello, everyone.
And there I am. So it seems like you all can hear me. Give everyone a minute while we give everyone a minute to join, as this was a last-minute scheduled channeling. I am Aurora. In case you don't know who I am the founder of Aura Hypnosis Alchemy, Angelic Alchemy Healing, where we have learned how to connect the client at the deepest level that we have been able to find through the union of the angelics information. As I always teach, is Aura, even though I am the founder, I'm not going to say it's mine. I'm going to say it's the universe's teachings. It's the, let me make sure I mute this here as I'm hearing you all come in. Okay. And it is the universe's teachings. It is the angelic teachings. It is our soul's teachings. So that's what we're doing. I am, you can see the bridge bringing forth this information. And as you've seen right now, you can find me on risingphoenixaurora.com, as well as here. Let me figure out what that dinging is. Seems like that is here. If I mute my volume, can you all hear me if I mute that dinging? Let me know if you can hear me still. Can you hear me? I've never had that do that before. I'm gonna make sure it's not dinging every time you all comment. Can you all hear me? If I mute the volume, I think you all can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Waiting for the answer. Yes. Okay, thank you. All right, awesome. Very good. Yeah, okay, good. It stopped dinging. Now, with that, you have seen that we have been able to heal things that we thought we couldn't heal. And it truly is because we're going into a theta brainwave. We'll talk about that later, but that's a little bit more of Aura. And really what the main focus to this live channeling is updates. As you all know, I was at Mount Shasta about a week ago. All the time seems to mesh into one, so it becomes hard for me. But yes, I was in Mount Shasta, and I wanted to give you guys updates along the way as far as what occurred energetically since, and what was the plan there initially, how that was created, and what it has looked like currently, and what it looks like for us as a collective, as within Earth, within Gaia, within as individuals, as well as the collective. So that's the goal today, to help you, update you, and understand why it is that's giving you also some of the backgrounds to why it is that I sometimes they send me to places or have me do certain things, and what is the connection to that as well, and how that's aiding, because you all are connecting to what we are doing in particular places, and because it is not an individual work, it is a collective work. So I am excited to be here, and you can find me in risingphoenixaurora.com, where again I offer aura hypnosis sessions, and as well as certifications. It's been 1 year that we started certifying, teaching people, and we have about 31, I believe, about 31, 33 practitioners. 31 certified, but some of them are still in the training. And we also have, I'm going on my 170 sessions, which is really good for only a year and a half. So those of you who have been following it from the beginning have been able to see its beautiful transformation, and to what it is right now at its solid, at its solid. I'm trying to find a word for that. At its foundation, what it is right now. It's a beautiful foundation right now, and we have many practitioners from different hypnosis stages, different certifications coming now and wanting to learn it, because it teaches you on how to go past some of those blockages. We'll talk more on that later. So yes, and I also offer Akashic readings, meditation for children every other Sunday, and classes, alchemy classes on Patreon. You can find me on Patreon under Rising Phoenix Aurora as well, just like my YouTube channel. If you want to support these live channelings, that helps support that for only the $4. And then you get a beautiful live guided meditation with me that is transformational. So thank you for being here, and thank you for listening to our quick 5-minute introduction. Now, I am excited to be sharing some of this information with you all, because at times what happens is that when it is occurring, we cannot share till it has actually occurred. So because things can shift the energies and say the timeline within what's meant to occur. If you announce it, if you give information about it, things can alter. So rather keep in silence. And this really the way it works, unfortunately, within the 3 and the 4th dimension. If you're trying to do something, it's best to keep it to yourself, to you start creating it, and you feel till it's time. Okay, I've created it, it's almost at its completion, or it's at its completion. Now I will, announce it to whomever is supposed to be announced to. Drink some water. So that was exciting. So let me go back. It was exciting to be at Mount Shasta and connecting to you all from there. Now, let's see. We're going to go a little bit of background to what occurred that brought that there. And then from there, what it transformed to, and now what it looks like in the channeling community. As I've heard from different channels that there has been a recent transformation, and I'm sure you all have heard that as well. I don't watch channels because I don't like to be influenced by their information, but every now and then some people will give me a video, oh, this was mentioned here, this was mentioned there. So then I love to get information like that and see, because it inspires one another to help each other grow. That's the goal. There is too much separation. And unfortunately, it's not just here. There's also separation too as well in other galaxies and other dimensions and other alternate realities of Earth, which is a long story there. Now, which we won't be going into. So if you do have Q&A from any of what I'm mentioning or any of the channelings that recently occurred, so for example, the Archangel Michael, where he channeled directly from his law of action, the core chakra, which could hold the fear, the guilt, the shame. So any questions there on that law and what occurred there, you can go ahead and start typing them there. I do believe I do have Lily. I saw her under. So thank you, Lily, for being here. Love you, honor you, and thank you for being here. And also thank you for being here with me on when we went on our nice little road trip to Mount Shasta, which was fun. She had to put up with me singing the whole time. In the car ride. Now, yes. Okay. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of background that I don't normally share. So this is fun to be able to share this with you all. Okay. So a couple months ago, I started getting dream time and also very strong intuition and inner knowing telepathic communication. Someone recently asked me a really good question. They're like, Aurora, how is it that you channel? So I think this is a really good topic to explain to you how it is that I channel. Now, I am a clear channel. Now, with that, you all know that I am very particular on what the energies that are meant to come forth. Now, if when I'm channeling, you do feel a very beautiful love, and you feel a beautiful heart resonance and love within you, and the goal and the intent is always to help you, empower you, to help you grow, to help you stand forth in your sovereignty, to help you lift your vibration, so you understand that you are that creator being that you were before you came forth upon this plane. Now, with that, there are souls that are here that are younger souls that have, for example, perhaps have been in Earth cycle and have repeated and repeated with their own karma energy that they couldn't, say, transcend and ascend. And then those would be the younger souls that perhaps like are in animals, are in, but even then some animals are old souls as well, and you could tell them apart. Those animals that, that act like humans, that sit upright in a chair, that look at you and, talk to you just with their attention upon you. You understand them like they are a human. The ones that have interesting personalities, they most likely, they're older souls. Now, looking at that point of view, so that you have your younger souls And then you have also older souls in animal companion bodies that are basically parts of you that you have fractalized from you, that decided to be a part, to help you, like a partner, help you live through this density and give you that guidance and the unconditional love, really what the animals represent. Now, with that, so you have your souls like that, like I explained. So going back to how it is that I channel. Now, the way it works is that, so I surround force field. So if you haven't watched it, our the Jesus channeling, he talks about how we use our own source energy that is infinite from our heart, from our soul, that is connected to the creator, to the source energy. So it's infinite. And how you use that to interact it too with your toroidal sphere. And you've heard through all our teachings, through all the different channels of just about every Friday, they give you so much beautiful, I don't like to use the information free, but I guess that's the only information. They give it through me, through the vessel, freely to you. And it is just, and how many emails I get and how many comments I get are so beautiful, saying, I discovered you, and thank you for all this beautiful information that you're giving out freely, and that have inspired me. And from the beginning of watching, say, the information that the benevolent beings that have been channeling through me, from that beginning when I found you to now, my growth is significant. So many of you have found me at the beginning, where you experience watching me grow to the, you could say, to the settlement that I am within this vessel, in this time and space of my own divinity. And really, it's become very beautifully settled now. Okay, so the way that I channel is that there is and then I have a quantum alchemy channeling certification. But if you're looking at that, I would definitely though recommend the Isis Priestess 6-month course that I have available on Patreon. That goes into very detailed, alone, only 44 alchemy symbols. So that's what I would recommend. It is coming up in October if you want to be part of that, the new 6-month course, okay, on Patreon. Now, it is many different things. It is a lot of silencing the mind and listening to the clearness. So not only does it start off with, remember the force fields we talk about, the I am source energy. So I'm setting myself up with an intent, within the frequency, with a connection. I am to, for example, with the priestess program and the quantum alchemy channeling, we teach you the frequencies, and we teach you the alchemy symbols that come along with that frequency in that dimension that you're wanting to connect. So when you have that specific signature and frequency, it allows for to only, for example, that type of dimension, entity, spirit to speak to you, benevolent entity to speak to you, versus where if you just open yourself up, then you're really accepting any type of frequency. As you know, we taught these through we taught these through Egypt, through Atlantis, Lemurian times. We taught this through different times, and first you set up that intent and frequency. So we teach you how to work with that, with symbols, with sacred alchemy symbols. So that is how I do it. The summary of it, of course, is hours and hours of teachings for that. Now, there is either a good question is, there's either telepathic. So right now what I'm going to be doing is this telepathic, where I'm in the theta brainwave, where I'm still conscious. So part of the good thing that I am a clear channel, that I find very comforting to myself, though there's great also beauties to being a trance channel. But with the clear channel, you're able to be conscious. So no matter if I am in a hypnosis or I am still conscious, but kind of in the background. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm in the theta, I'm conscious. They're speaking to me. I'm listening very intently and very silently and very sacredly and lovingly to what information they're giving me. I'm allowing for them to use my senses to give me the information. So I might hear the information, I might know the information, I might feel the information, and then I'm speaking through that through a high frequency of love, which really helps the information to come forth in the highest frequency that we can think of. Though not every channel is absolutely at, say, 100%, because not everyone is 100%. But I am very particular and very specific, and you could say a bit of, you would call it perfectionist, but I don't like that word. But I am very particular on what the information you're to share through me, and because it comes through that filter of the high vibration, then that's how we ensure that the information comes forth by the time it goes through that frequency, to that toroid sphere, through that consciousness of the oneness of the being that I am, and the alchemy symbols and alchemy sacred force fields that I have set up around me. It doesn't allow the negative polarized entities fool me. So the other thing is, so that's how I communicate. So I could either go into trance, where I would trance clear channel, where I close my eyes and I just really just start becoming that energy, that entity that's speaking through me, or I can just telepathically hear and speak and still be conscious. Okay. So so let's go ahead and start talking now about the Mount Shasta. So Mount Shasta, I started here getting dream time a couple months prior. What was that, Lily? I'm not talking to her, but maybe in March, February, March. So right around the time, actually, as we know, nothing's a coincidence, where Alba Wyman was setting up her Mount Shasta retreat. I started getting dreams of her, and I'm like, why am I dreaming of Alba Wyman? Of course, you know how we question our guys, like, why? So I was dreaming of her, and then I was dreaming of some mission that I was supposed to go, and I was supposed to be connecting not only to, though I already know Alba Wyman and she knows who I am, I've already met her prior, that something significant, something of importance for the collective of humanity was supposed to be occurring during this time. Now, during this time, I can't say anything. So all I could say was, I emailed Alba, which she kindly, lovingly replied and said, "Oh, Aurora, I actually am just planning it out. I just rolled it out." At that time, no one had yet even signed up for it. And she said, "I have this Mount Shasta retreat that I have going on. You're dreaming of me, and this might be connected to that. I'd love for you." So her, her inner knowing and her beautiful guidance from her angelic team was also guiding her. Remember, because they work through us through different fractalizations and different parts of us. Now, I said, okay. And even then, I like to question everything, because I'd like to be very particular on what I'm about to embark upon. Is this something? How is this going to work out for me? How is this going to work out for my family? How is this going to work out for the collective? I need some kind of information, which they never quite give much information. They just kind of show imagery, feelings. I'm more of a feeling type of knowing, from the heart. So they showed me through vision, though through dream time, the energy there and how it was going to help shift. And it wasn't just, of course, not me. It was going to be a collective of beings that were going to be there. And the way they showed me, it was like, specifically, they showed me I was going to be in a theta group regression, a regression where Alba was leading it. And I was interested in that. I was like, how is Alba going to lead this if she's not doing any hypnosis? And then I discovered, as I kept reading the itinerary, that she was doing a group regression. So I told her, okay, yes. So then I went ahead and booked it. And then she said, this would be a great opportunity for you to come and meet people and, make some connections. And then I got to meet beautiful Geraldine Orozco. I love her. Oh, she's lovely. And we definitely got to chatting and talking about, realize how much her information connects to us. And every time we would talk, a lot of information, really our information aligned and connected with what we get from beyond the veil, from our, from our teams and our galactic soul families. And then, yes, so we realized, we had a lot of connections there. So I understood that there. But going back to, so we did so I think it was the day before July 1st. So that would have been June 30th. Looking at my calendar. Yeah, That would have been June 30th. So they've been prepping me this whole time. I know at some point I'm supposed to be channeling Michael, and then I'm also going to be, helping some energetic and grid lines as well to prepare. And as you all know, we had already started preparing you all in the channeling before Archangel Michael, where there was going to be a 7/7 portal that was going to be coming up. So we're going to give you some information on that and explain what that means. Now, okay. And hopefully by then I could go back and look at your questions and answer them. Because once they start talking and they start channeling through me, and it's kind of hard for me to interrupt that. Okay. Slow down a bit. All right. So that day came, and I was excited. I was waiting patiently for it, just working and also connecting. We made some beautiful connections. The group that went there was a very special, beautiful, high energetic group. The people who Alba and Geraldine put together were phenomenal. Like even the yoga instructor, the sound healing, they were just a beautiful soul. So it was overall just a beautiful experience. So my love to them as well, again, for that experience. It really helped you. So for example, you got there Friday, and then by the time you got to Sunday, you really had a wind, and really had connected many relationships with the people who were there. I have found some really some beautiful resonance. And of course, I did my thing. The minute their people's higher selves were speaking to me, I would give them a message with their permission. Alba was very kind during it. She would explain to people who I was and what I did, and gave me beautiful, not that I needed it, but recognition and just love. So really love that connection. And we really also got to know her as well, even in a deeper manner than you get to see her sessions. So by the time we got to you're working with all these people, and you're connecting with them all day long and talking to them all day long, and all these beautiful exercises that they put together. So we get to the group regression, and the group regression was just wow. So I knew that because they had showed me in dream time and through meditation and through connection. They don't show me details. It's like they give you little bird crumbs, and then you go with it. And in that time when you are working and whatever you're working on, then you have to basically surrender. And that is a hard frequency for us to achieve. But working in that surrender and understanding that you will be guided. Some of you might be guided, say, to Egypt. Some of you might be guided to go see the Mayan pyramids. Some of you might be guided to go to Ireland, wherever you're going. And there's a reason why you're going to that. So then what I give you is homework, perhaps you can say, is when you are being directed to go somewhere, try to start already meditating and see if you can get communications from your higher self, from your guides, your angels, your soul family. Why is it that you're going there? And then trust what you're getting. That's our biggest obstacle, is us, because we get the information, and what do? We automatically oh no, that is wrong. Or then we start questioning it, which is good to question it, but question it like, okay, is this my ego speaking, the negative side of the ego? Remember, because we teach that there's beauties to the ego. And then is this benevolent, information that's coming forth from my heart? And then what can I do there? What are the places that I could go to? You have to go like a flow, right? We talked about this in other channeling, so I don't want to repeat myself, but because I'd like to use the time that I have to give you new information. So go with the flow of it, like that river, right? That we've talked about in surrender. So I knew that she was going to be leading a group regression. There was going to be something very significant for the earth consciousness and the collective. So as we're there, we're hearing that not only is Alba there, there's also other hypnosis, other channels there, spiritual healers that are there as well, that are in that same weekend at, in Mount Shasta, surrounding Mount Shasta, and there's groups of people that are there, basically the leaders, spiritual leaders that have gotten people who are awakened or are awakening in some form, and that are there. And then they start, basically, as the seer that I am, they start showing me how it's kind of like a beautiful grid, and then how the Galactic, the Raw Collective, the Galactics are going to use these groups, these beautiful groups set up throughout Manchester. And I'd be interested to know where each group was and how. That'd be interesting to know, and how and what formation they were around Manchester. Okay, so then from there, in that time, and I don't remember what time it was, but I know the time had to be significant as well. I believe it was, oh, you know what happened? The lunch was delayed. So now they're telling me that the lunch was delayed on purpose because it needed to be for that specific time. So I don't remember, Lily. I don't remember. I'm feeling like it was maybe around the 1-ish time. So Lily, if you remember, because I remember it was right after lunch. So her group regression had to be around the 13th time, and 13th hour. Do you all and you all remember? Minnie, I'm checking on MeWe and see if you remember the time, which I know might be hard, but okay. So we are. I feel like it was in the 13th hour. It was either right after the 13th hour or the 13th hour of the 1 p.m. Central Time, 1 p.m. time. Okay, so that's the 13th hour. Now, yes, so she has these really cool headsets where you could go anywhere. So people spread themselves out. She gave them headsets, and then they spread themselves out throughout the land. I believe some people went outside because you could hear her anywhere, basically, where you were at. So she's speaking live through the mic. Now, as she's putting us in, so what they show me, because you all know that I work with entities and I work with negative energies. Okay. So it went on, she says, till about 3 p.m., the hypnosis. Okay. So okay. So let's go back to that. Now, as people are laying down, and I go into hypnosis through the group regression that Alba is leading, and everyone's laying down. Also, Geraldine is laying down, and interesting enough, 23 people were there, which 2-3 adds up to the number 5. So we talked about the number 5 and the significance to the connection to Divine Mother, right? We talked about how the Divine Mother, in her fractalization, her connected to the earth is the number 5. Because what happened is that she was within the highest divinity Archangel Michael talked about in that session, which I didn't listen. Even I sometimes don't listen. Metatron, right before I left, he was like, you should really take the mic. And I was like, what am I going to need that for? Oh, silly Aurora. I needed it because I was going to do live channelings there. So I'm thinking of going back and actually I'm going to put them through, because once you go live, there's no way for you to edit the volume on YouTube. So I think I'm going to download it and re-upload it for you all, so you all could hear at a higher volume, because it is hard to hear me because I did not have my handy mic with me. Now, see, even Aurora sometimes doesn't listen. and it it's like, she'll listen. Now, as you all know, sometimes I like to be funny. I love laughter. A lot of the information they have me share, sometimes you can't, so I like to squeeze in laughter every now and then. Okay. So yes, probably going to do that. Definitely going to do that. Okay, now going back to that is that so we're all laying, and I'm laying in the house, And everyone, again, is spread out. So I'm painting a picture of you all. So everybody's laying down. They're laying, they got yoga mats, they got pillows, blankets. They're laying down for a regression. Now, when this happens is with Aura, and you all know that I work with the Phoenix Fire energy. So they started showing me, the way that they showed me is that entities. So there was entities in the land, there was entities in people, and there was entities overall that were going to basically interfere with the connection of what was supposed to be happening within this specific group regression. Now, again, I'm not saying that it is just this specific group regression is the only reason this occurred, because remember we said that there was a collective of many different groups there. But I am talking to you about what occurred specifically in this group regression. Okay. Now, she puts us in. So then the way they show me is entities. They show me as bugs. And then they start connecting. So they use me kind of like a focus point, not like a kind of, but a focus point and a centerpiece. Just like when you create, say, perhaps a crystal grid, and you have the centerpiece, a heart, right? Or how we talk about the heart of the Divine Mother, heart that exists within the earth, which is going to make sense in a little bit when I explain that. And then, so that's how they were using not only me, but also people who could basically, scientifically speaking, were able to reach that frequency of love. So people who were in this group of 23 that had a high frequency of love. Okay. So with that is specifically because my work is working with helping people lift their vibration, removing the densities, healing, transforming, transmuting, ascending the negative densities within people, whether they're entities, whether they're consciousness, whether they're just energy within them. Okay, so they had me start within my connection, intuitively, intently, and consciously, as some people do this without even realizing it. However, I'm at the point where I've done so many hypnosis sessions. I've aided so many people through Ra as well, through the Reiki Angelic Alchemy, where I can just, scan people's energy, scan people's bodies, scan whoever I'm talking to, and the higher self will always share what they have with the higher self's permission, what it is that they need help with. So sometimes I'll meet a person, say a year from now, and they are blocked from their heart, and they say connect with them, and then I'll meet, and then a year from now we'll have a hypnosis session, a healing session, a class, and all of a sudden they'll be put forth on the higher self, their highest path with their higher self permission, because they've experienced that. Now, and this is what I teach. I teach others that you can do this as well by achieving the heart frequency. So that is what I was doing when I was in the hypnosis regression. I was scanning with the Raw Collective, the Guardians. We were going through and we were scanning some of the denser entities that were there that were going to infringe, and it took me a while. I lost track of time, as there really is no time, especially when you go into hypnosis, but it really felt like a good 20 minutes maybe that I was working on helping them. I don't like using the word I, but they were using my energy, the heart frequency, to heal and remove entities in this group, again, in the land and the area. And then the layers beneath when we connected to the inner earth. Okay, because that's what we initially did. So as we're doing it, the way they show me is parasites. They show me insects. That's the way they show me insects. So like they show me insects crawling on a person's head, then that they have some entities there, or most often though they usually show me what the actual entity looks like versus insects. So then we were clearing them away. The way they showed me to do is I was swishing them away. So at this point I'm connecting not just to myself, but I'm connecting to the people who are there, who have given permission with the Raw Collective to give them permission to swish away those entities. In other words, help them ascend and transform into light. So we're doing that. We're doing that, swishing them away, good 20 minutes. So then from there, we go in and we basically I turn into the Aurora form that you all some of you have seen through, some of you have shared your stories, how you've seen through Dreamtime that Aurora has visited you, that we have visited you through meditation, through Dreamtime, through, or even before you met me, before you found me on YouTube, you knew that you were supposed to find me. And yeah, the pretty phenomenal stories I hear. Maybe someday I'll compose them together for you all, but they're very beautiful. Now, so I turn into this beautiful golden flamed phoenix woman, angel with wings. And then I lift out my body and then I fly over. And as I'm flying over, I can see energetically through the regression. Remember, because when you go into hypnosis, you can see, sense, feel things even more intense and clearer and stronger than you normally would if you were in a more of a conscious brainwave, into the alpha brainwave, and those brainwaves that come before the theta brainwave, before delta brainwave of sleep. Now, and then I could see everyone where they showed me everyone where everyone was laying as I'm flying above, and then I could see everyone had a light. Everyone had this beautiful light within them and a color. Now, this color, everyone's color was different. Not everyone, even though it was a heart chakra, was green. Some people had different colors depending on their transformation. As far as what they explain right now is that, so for example, like if they are in a purple type of color in their flame, in their heart, it is a time of transformation, a time of endings, you can say, of a negative energy, times of transmutation to light. They're basically shedding off, clearing off negative energy. Okay. Now they're healing themselves. Now, if you see someone within a green, a pink type of chakra, then this person is emanating love, has perhaps really done a lot of healing within them, even though of course there still might be more healing throughout time that might occur, but they are in a resonance right now of a frequency, and then the resonance, the frequency can come in and out as well, because we're not perfect. We can't be in a high love light frequency at all times, every single minute of the day, right? Okay, so thank you all for being here. Now, after I finish explaining the alignment group regression, I will take questions. Okay, this is a long story. Bear with me. Now, but I hope you all are finding it very interesting. Okay, so that's different colors again. So you would look at the different colors. So for example, what each color represent. Perhaps the person might have an orange, even though it's not the orange chakra. Their heart frequency might be an orange frequency. It might have that type of hertz frequency for the orange heart chakra in the heart, because perhaps they are creating right now with their heart. They're creating intensive love with their heart. So then their chakra might look more of an orange, pinkish type of look. So another one, their chakra in their heart might look golden because they are protectors, and maybe they might have a layer of golden and a pink inside. So yeah, many different examples, several different examples for you there. Now, so then I saw that, and I saw everyone's, basically I didn't see the vessels. I only saw people's hearts and their energies and what we could work with, and then the permissions. And then I saw above like a strand, a double helix DNA strand connecting them to their higher self. So then that's how I knew that the higher selves had agreed to be here in this time and space, basically to help the earth shift. Okay. All right. Now, those are the two things that I saw. And then I also saw there was, unfortunately, some people in the group that were too much in service to themselves. So then I knew that right away. They were like, okay, some people you need to, be careful what you, have your shields up, and then some, but pretty much everyone was in like positive service to others who was there. They didn't even realize it, but they were there. Okay, so then from there, then I continued flying, and then we finished up some of the entity removal there. Okay. Now I can see energies also in the forest that were more of an energetic. So I could see also like inner earth people energetically. The easiest way I could say is like bilocating their energies. Yes, that's what they're saying. The inner earth is saying they were bilocating energies, their vessels upon all around griddings. And then I could also see groups. Remember, we talked about the other groups and their lights. And then inner earth assisting in bilocating it so that we can draw this in basically like a it's hard because they show me visualizations and feelings, and then I have to pull it into words for you all, because I'm more of a frequency type of communicator. If you've watched my other channelings, I'm as a little girl, I didn't understand why people would use words. They could why they weren't speaking telepathically into frequencies instead. Okay, so they like a magnet. There we go. So they're showing me like a bioplasmic energy magnet pulling in the energy. So okay, so remember how we said the higher selves were there. So the higher selves were there. They drew in the cord connection to the people who were there because they're not using their life source. Because you have to make sure that you're not using your life source. You're connecting to the divine, to the higher self, to the raw galactics or whoever you align with. But remember, the raw galactic, the guardians could work with the Arcturians, the Pleiadians, the all these different races that we do not have names for. Okay, and through the Adama channeling, you remember Adama talked about those different races, and they don't have quite names for them. We can name them, but remember that it's something that we're doing. It's not something that they're naming themselves. They are a frequency. They're a registration of a frequency, not a name. Now, okay, so then from there, then I flew in, and I knew that there was an entrance through the top of Mount Shasta. So I went through and astral traveled in through there energetically. When I did, there was like, let's see what I could explain. There was like levels. And some of this information is in the Inner Earth guided meditation that Adama spoke. And that's where I found Adama. So this connects to that channeling that we spoke and we gave details about. Now, I'm going to not explain the Adama channeling so much. I'm going to explain the back. What I'm doing is I'm explaining the back end to what created that. The channeling and also the group regression, because it's all beautifully connected, okay? Now, as we're going through, Adama was there, his beautiful form, and he talks about it in the channeling if you want to know how he looks. And then he takes me through layers and layers. So not only through the Mount Shasta and the civilizations there, and then also beneath the tunnels and into that civilization. Okay. And again, this is all talked about in that channeling, the Adama channeling. And then he takes me through, and it wasn't so much like it was more like a union, you could say it, between I and Adama. It was like we're holding hands side to side as equals, because that's how benevolent beings will work, always side to side to you. Okay, so then we're going down, and then when I go down, I see this beautiful cluster of crystals, and it is a crystalline type of heart energy. So it's a print. It is a soul's prints of the Divine Mother and her consciousness. So I'm going to try to paint you the picture so you can understand this. So the Divine Mother is there. Her consciousness is there within a collective of crystals. Now, as we know, there are many different crystals and caves inside earth, inside the inner earth, inside caves, right? Because caves are inside the earth. And there are, you could say these are pieces like fractalizations of the Divine Mother that are this crystal here, this crystal here, this crystal here. Because remember, the Divine Mother created creation. She created, as we've spoken about, the seraphim, the angelic realm. If you're looking for more information about this, I do have a playlist for you where we're just live channeling. So I would suggest for you to start watching them from the beginning so you could understand what we're explaining now if you have yet to do that. I also created, so I create playlists for you all. I also created, because that way it's easy for you to find things. I created a playlist for the story of creation where we're talking about the 4 centaurs and where Dolores Cannon and then Archangel Michael and Lucifer Helio talked about their beginnings there. Okay. Now, so that's a little bit so you could understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, go back and hear that. Now, these crystals are all connected also, because remember, the crystals are different colors. So they're also connected to the 7 core chakras and the 7 rays. Sometimes you will hear healers that are telling you to remove these chakra systems. That's something else that people have brought to me. Remove them. Get rid of it. Don't listen to it. Rip it out of you, whatever. Oh, that is not a good thing to do, because basically the 7 core chakras within you are connected not only to the I could never say this word, endocrine system within you, of the 7 major glands of your organs that are connected to you, and then it's also connected to the chakras that are connected to every single one of those endocrinins, the endocrine system that is connected to the hormones that is basically maintaining your body balanced and healed and all these beauties within you. Okay, so that is just you as an individual consciousness, as an individual, single organism. Now, then you think of it as an even bigger picture, and then you see that you are also connected to the rays within Earth. So how the Divine Mother has her beautiful rays, and then we're talking about the Elohim, the archangels, and how they have their rays, and we talked about their rays and which laws that they are in charge of through our channelings, right? So, and then you are parts of these different colors, right? Some of you might connect to a different color, which means that you will be more of that ray, then you're helping that ray upon Earth. I believe Magenta Pixie might talk a little bit some about this. I've only watched a couple of her what does she call it? She calls it transmissions. The ones that people have given me, especially the most recent ones that they said that I might want to watch now. And then definitely the most recent ones. Now, okay, so then we have basically, so these rays are connected to the colors. So if you could envision it now, it's like, let's just call it a sphere, though. I do also accept and believe in also the flat Earth, because we've talked about it. There's both. You could look at it as a sphere or a flat Earth. There's both, potentials. And there is basically, the shape matters not, because we're in a organic matrix. We talked about this within the raw, with this organic matrix. So therefore, what is created within our consciousness, within our toroidal spheres, within our individual toroidal spheres, and within our collective toroidal spheres as a collective, it is the most intense, beautiful, clearest virtual realities that you are in. Remember, because only through here are we tied to our vessel and connected. We've talked about this before. Okay, so whatever shape you want to think of, let's just say sphere, because it'll make it easier for us. Okay, it's a sphere. So then there's the different rays there, and every color ray is connected to every key and every law of the universal laws. So we've shared with you all which archangel is shared, which archangel stands in each law, in which, and then you will have a resonance. And it matters not if you do not say necessarily always connect with archangels, because remember, certain races that you are parts of, we're all beautiful multidimensional beings. So you can connect to a different color without having to connect to the archangel, and that you could connect to that color just by being that perhaps ended up flourishing, being birthed from that color ray, perhaps from that galaxy, from a different dimension, or a current galaxy that is more, say, of a blue ray. This galaxy is more of a green ray. Okay, so imagine it like that, like it's beautiful pieces, and they're all connecting to the different dots and rays. It's hard to explain. I hope you guys are understanding this. Okay, now within our organic matrix system, we have the different laws that we've spoken of, which we have 2 more to share, which we will be going back next Friday. We'll be going back to every Friday typically, unless you don't see an announcement, then that means something is I had to do something else and I couldn't do a live channeling. Okay, now when that connects to the laws. So yes, 2 archangels coming up we'll be sharing. We have, yes, we have Haniel, and then we have Ragiel, who is left, that we have yet to share. Let me know, Lily, if I'm missing one. That's what's coming to my head right now. Okay. Now, so right now you should be basically at this point seeing like this beautiful sphere, and it has these beautiful colors. And let's think about this, okay? Who has looked at the Schumann Resonance? This is something that we really want to talk about in detail so you could understand today as well. Okay, the Schumann Resonance, there is a website, you can look it up, Schumann Resonance. I will put the link in the details there for you to click. You can keep track of it. It's a live update. Remember how we had talked about how there was going to be that 7-7 portal. Now, before we get to that 7-7 portal, there's shifting and things that we need to work upon to get it there as individuals and as collectives. Okay, so this was a very beautiful big piece of getting to that 7-7 portal. Now, when you look at the Schumann Resonance and you look at the Aurora Borealis, you see these beautiful colors, beautiful blend that are blending into one another, like ambient type of energies, right? Blending in. So this is how you would want to envision this sphere. Now, if you rip this out, then you are disconnecting yourself from these different rays and laws that you've agreed to connect to, these universal laws, these chakras. It is basically the consistency of you within the 3D. Okay, so that could, again, cause you some issues. Now, so you're asking how you want to heal that. You would want to work with someone who is in a heart frequency, who would work with in the hypnosis theta brainwave, and will help you, because it's not completely gone. It could be disconnected. It could be, I've met people who've done aura where their crown chakra was off to the side, or even through Raws, and we had to work and put it back on. I've worked, so there's many details to that. Can't go into that today. So then let's see. So when you're looking at like this, so this is what we did. When we went into the group regression, we connected to the rays of the individuals there, which then created this beautiful heart vibration, heartbeat. Because what we did is we connected to the collective of hearts, the heart of the Divine Mother that exists within the planet here. That's why that's why we call her the Earth Mother. She's our mother. She's our, some people might even call her grandmother. Okay. Okay. Now, from there, when this happened, it started shifting the bioplasmic energy within Earth, connected to the Schumann Resonance, connected to the Aurora Borealis, and connected to the energies also within you and your 7 rays. Though the chakras we teach through alchemy, we go all the way up to the 13 alchemy chakras, as well as the alchemy symbols that go with that. So, but particularly we're just talking about the 7 right now. Now, when that happened is that it started shifting the energies, and it started, as Archangel Michael spoke about, connecting the divine feminine and the divine masculine energies. Now, you mostly have heard through other channels that this is occurring now. Some of the dualism within us, we are finding a beautiful union, where our feminine had been leading us all our lives, and perhaps we're at times a little more, the feminine side, we're a little too gentle, where we've been taught to be a bit, through our programming, through the divinity, divine feminine are not pushovers, but through the programming, right? We've been taught to be pushovers, to perhaps be jealous, be hateful towards others, and this is as well as in the masculine. And remember, every time we talk about the feminine and the masculine, we're talking about both within you, not just, we're not segregating against just female and male. We're talking about both within you. So deprogramming this. So there are coding right now, and if you can see it, there's coding light language within the Earth that are flowing through these colors and these rays that we talked about, and they are activating you, activating the people around you, if you start working with the love frequency of working with your source energy. Okay. And there is going to be a video, keep an eye out, by the end of next week, that I'm going to share some of the teachings that is only on Patreon, where we talk about how to use this I am source energy in a more detailed manner. So I will be sharing that freely for you all, because I think it's time for you to know how to use this even more detailedly. Though I have my I am source video out there, I also have the how to maintain your vibrations high, how to use the sun's energy to recharge from Nostradamus. We have those, but it's time to put it into one class for you so you can understand it and place the puzzles together. So yes, going to be doing that. Now, as these energies shifted, it is like you could say like a level up of energy, so we can understand. It leveled up the Earth's energy. Now, I'm not saying it leveled it up to the 5D, but though we're able to connect to the 5D at any point, right? Through our pineal gland, our eye horse, our third eye. We're able to connect into the 5D and beyond. And that shifted. So what happened when that activated? What happened is that now the people within, some of the people, though some of them were still in this group regression in a beautiful high frequency of love, some of them can feel it. The majority of them did see like blue type of energy through it. Now the blue energy was because what was there? Remember what we talked about? The law of action, which was Archangel Michael. So they saw blue because he's the blue ray. Now when I'm talking about the blue ray, I'm talking about the Archangel Michael blue ray, the people who are here as true seekers, who are here to awaken others through awareness, who are perhaps definitely indigo, who are here as catalysts, who are here even as true seekers in a silence manner, where, because you don't need to be a catalyst and you don't need to be a true seeker, outspoken. Remember that we honor all ways. Every way is beautifully and equalness. So you could be a true seeker where you could just sit there and you can just observe. And by observing and seeing what can be healed from a person in front of you, from a group in front of you, from a plant in front of you, that frequency is entering the collective frequency. That is a way that you are a volunteer of Earth and aiding. Okay? Now, so some people came to, after they awakened from the first group regression that we had, and said, and guess what they felt? Yep. So Alba explained that usually, like every place that they go to, that there will be a theme. So she went somewhere, and I forgot what she said. Maybe Barcelona, maybe I don't remember. But she said that everyone saw dragons. So that we will see as hypnosis healers, we will see that we will get, like, especially if you do group regression, you will see a theme going on, and the theme will have to do with what is going on, what needs to be healed. Because we don't just do this, through, say, we do this as also individuals in different manners, not just through, say, the overwhelming group regression. Everyone is part of this beautiful, beautiful growth. Now, there, and then I won't share too many details because I don't like to share people's stories specifically unless it is meant to be shared by them. But I do share people's stories that have the higher selves have given me permission to. Though these people have given me their other higher selves permission, some of the things is their own personal things. So, there's no point in me sharing that. So they went in and they basically connected to the energies there, and guess what they felt? They felt a wave of love when we connected. The raw connected, all the beautiful soul families that were there connected to that heart of the Divine Mother. A wave went like a beautiful explosion, and emanated, and at least 3 of them spoke up about it. They felt it when they were in the hypnosis. They felt this wave go through them. And then when that was happening, I could see people's, so remember how we talked about their color right here? So I could see, because they were laying down, so I could see a line, a ray coming out of their color, coming out their back, and then it was connected like lines, like grid lines, okay, into the heart of the collective. Okay. So they were, whoever shared this, they were greatly moved because they were able to sense and feel the wave of love that, from my understanding, they hadn't felt before. And it was magical. Magical was. Some of them said that it was so strong that it went through them, and then they almost woke up from the hypnosis, how strong and flew through it, vibrated through them. And instead, it basically, they had to basically, center and come back. And then one particular person, though, the wave went through, and it did like bring her, it put her straight into a synonymous type of form where this being did not remember anything. So that is how beautifully powerful this wave was. Now, when this wave, remember, and then it also connected to some of those who were in a high frequency of love that were in the other groups of light workers that were there. Now, and I realized I was going to talk an hour just on this, but it's I think it's a significant information that what they're saying is the raw wanted me to share with you all. Okay. Now, when that happened, let's see, it started bringing forth you could say you could imagine a geode crystal, and it's in a sphere. And then what's happened, that it's cracked, and it has a crack in it, right? Maybe it has a crack right in the center. So you could say that one side is the divine feminine, and one side is the divine masculine. So the divine mother, the divine father within us. And it started basically healing, and putting itself together, and filling in the crack within this. And I'm giving you an example because I like to give you examples so you can visualize it. So it's bringing it together. So since then, I was told that the build-up specifically on Schumann Resonance was particular. On 7/7, on 10 p.m. Mountain Time, there was a huge spike from the Schumann Resonance. So if you're looking for proof, scientific, there is the proof for you. There, it went from a 7 hertz to 110 hertz. That is in itself, I mean, it didn't go to 20, it didn't go to 30, 50 even. 50 would have been, I'm sure, huge for us, but it went to 110 is what the information I was given. And you could watch it. I'm not sure how that works. Pretty sure, yeah, you're able to go back to the date and see. I believe that, yes, they kept a log, is what they're saying. They kept a log of the differences that was occurring. And after that, around 10 to 12 p.m. into it, and I believe it continued, they said, on the website till 6 a.m. And that is phenomenal. So if you could, what we're explaining to you is that the Schumann Resonance is the heart. Okay, this is what we're giving to you. It's the heart of the collective, the heart of the Divine Mother, the heart. And that is, so this creates portals when it emanates that high. This creates activations within you. It creates the clearing of energies within you. Why one day you might fall asleep and the next day you feel very different. Now, with that, we've talked about in past channels how you are, will be given things that will distract you. People who will come into your life that will distract you. Sometimes, unfortunately, light workers themselves that will distract you. But with that, remember, we honor all roles within the raw, because even if sometimes, say you listen to a channel and their information kind of doesn't resonate within you and you feel like, it's throwing off your radar, they are still part of their role. Their role is just as significant. So just what we're saying is, don't just choose what you feel is good from each channel and help it. It's all like a beautiful pieces spread out, sprinkled like beautiful seeds, like a beautiful dandelion flower. Not a dandelion. I don't know what those are called, the ones with the, when you blow on them, and then their seed goes with the wind and it sprinkles everywhere. Like that. That's how it is. Okay? And then what doesn't feel right in your heart, just dismiss it and let it go. And most importantly, the biggest thing that I can tell you right now as Aurora and who I am is that, first of all, it matters not whoever you're listening to, whoever you're following, whatever information you're reading, hearing, watching. It matters not how popular the person is, how well known they are, how many subscribers they have. That matters not. It doesn't matter how well known they are, how much of a superstar you could say in the light workers they are. It matters to the frequency of what they are emanating through them. Align and connect to their frequency. Now remember, there will be a mixture of different information they will give you. So we're not saying, segregate this person. What we're saying is find the resonance within. What matters most is what is the intent and the creational flow, the frequency that this information is being given to you. Is it in a frequency of service to self, where they want to make money, they want to be popular, they want people to worship them, to not question them, because we do have people like that. Because even people like that, they still have beautiful teachings for you. So what matters is what is the intent and the heart to that. information? Are they coming from the information, the knowledge that they're sharing you, the particular, they all share with you many different subjects, right? But this particular subject, is this subject, for example, coming from an intent of they're really trying to help me out? Yes, some of the information might be a bit misguided, maybe, and again, I mean, not quite misguided, because what might feel good for someone might not feel good for another. So again, I'm just trying my best with these human words. Now, choose what helps your soul grow, because we're all these beautiful little seeds, these little of information and knowledge that you're learning, and then soak in what feels good within your heart. If it doesn't feel good, then release it, and don't let it be part of your consciousness. Just let it go. Transmute it, heal it, transform it into light love. Okay? Now, because what happens is, it's like, okay, when you're listening to a channel, to a hypnosis session and so on, it is like coding. They showed me. So it's like coding. It's like invisible coding. And then you're like, ooh, for example, I will use this. Mother Mary's asking me to use her as an example. So there was information that was channeled in the past, where Mother Mary was supposedly raped and conceived Jesus, which we know that cannot be possible, because in order to birth forth a being as a 13th key, which he's talked about in his channeling, Jesus, Yeshua, a being that emanates such beautiful love, it would need to be created in a flow and an intent of infinite love. This beautiful, sacred love. Okay? So don't take that on just because that person has 20,000, 50,000, 70,000 followers, and they told you that Mother Mary was raped, and now you're going to make that part of your belief system and your consciousness. Question it. Okay, perhaps that doesn't feel right to me. Jesus feels that he would be, the stars aligned. There was an actual cosmic star portal gateway that opened up in the heavens, in the above, through the scenes we talked about, that created this frequency. Now, when you hear information, again, I'm not saying, cut those people off. Of course, if you feel that you need to follow your heart, if you feel that you need to do that, then you do that. But, honor everyone's beautiful rose, okay? Now, we are here just here in awareness, because there's been too many people lost to that information, lost to it for too long. And then they've created that coding into them, and they've made it part of their belief system. And then when you look at the belief system and the programming, okay, the Ra is saying, that is just as bad as so particularly the negative aliens, the reptilians, the Illuminati, the Cabal, what their biggest tool for them was, okay, people are awakening. What are we going to do? We are going to, so I was having a conversation with another light worker. We were talking about this, that is, a little bit, that's well known. And we're talking about how there's so many leaders out there, and that they start getting lost. So then understanding that you can't follow everything. Initially, I, as Aurora, me specifically, as this individual consciousness here who is part of this collective, I am not here for myself. I am here for your mother. I am here for your father. I am here for your brother. I am here for your children. That is what I'm here for. Now, when I'm speaking of this as I'm telling you that when you're working to heal yourself, these are people that you want to be touching your energy, to be helping your energy, because we've already seen it through aura hypnosis sessions, some of the things that can occur when people are not in an intent of service to others. They're instead in a service to self. When you're in a service to self, you open up portals and energies that are not very safe for your client and your the beautiful brother and sister that's laying there, that has given them your soul, That is, you're holding their soul in your palms, and you have to be very protective and honorable with that responsibility. Now, though, some people have contracts. See, we always explain both sides. Some people have contracts, and some contracts, they have to live through them, because not until they live through those contracts can they perhaps go through something that is catalyzing and so painful that they will come out from it rebirth like a phoenix, come out from it grown and wise and compassionate and loving towards others because they went through that pain. Okay? All right, we're going to run it a little past an hour. Well, actually, we're way past an hour at this point. So let's see what questions you all have. So I am going to recommend you a book, though. If you're looking for a scientific point of view, I've only read a couple pages, but this is a colleague of mine. So it's called Expansion for Ascending Consciousness. The Raw told me to recommend this, so I am recommending this today. Todd Diviney. This is a beautiful soul. We often talk about, Todd and I, we talk about it. We're like, we don't want to be famous. We don't want to be popular. You know, we've done that before. We've done this in past lives. The majority of us have done some kind of, you know, we were a king, we were a queen, maybe we were popular, we have galactic roles from above. We know that responsibility. But specifically in the 3D and 4D, when you are become well known, it is, you know, you become a light worker superstar. It is, but that's why I tell Todd. And that is exactly why the Raw tells us that why it is that we will be well known in whatever form, because we don't want it. And it is only the people who do not want it and who are not like doing whatever they can and getting things out of their way and people and doing, you know, fighting claws to get there to that popular stage. Those people are in service to self. And the people who are like us, who don't want it, who most likely will be given that responsibility because we will treat it with great honor, and we're not, what is the word? Am I explaining myself right? It is exactly because we do not want it. It is that it shall be perhaps given to us through, say, books like his beautiful series that he has going on, through the aura that we're teaching, through, you know, information, knowledge that I am to bring forth in scripture as well in the future that is in the workings for you all. Okay, so definitely recommend this, because this is, you remember how I talk about the creation story, and you know, you could say I talk about the lovey-dovey side. He talks about the science side. It's only science. There's no lovey-dovey in there. It's only science in the scientific point of view. So those of you who are more of a scientific being, as well as particularly the males tend to be of a higher type of scientific, this would be a really good one for those wives who are trying to get the husbands to listen to where, you know, we're not just in this body, we're beyond the body. This is a scientific point of view where you're looking at it and you're looking at consciousness in a beautiful form of science. Okay, so watch that. And I'll put the link below. You can buy it on Amazon. And I believe he's working on his second book now. And I believe it's a 3-book series. All right. So let me see what questions I can answer for you all. That story was really long. Yes. Yes. Todd is great. Someone wrote that, Mark. He is phenomenal. Interesting enough, Dolores, guess who brought us together? Dolores Cannon brought us together. We were together at the QHHT certification in Arkansas, and then we figured out that we've had, you know, we had several lives together. Maybe someday we'll interview and we'll talk a little bit more about what he does, what I do, and how it connects, because he actually also works with the 12, 13 elders that the Ross speak to me through, the elders, and he talks about the 12 galaxies and how they were broken apart in a scientific manner. So definitely want to read that. I've only read the first couple pages, but I did have the honor of him reading it to me when he was writing it, when he wrote it. So I do remember some of it, but maybe someday I'll read it. Okay. Now, Lily. Okay. I don't think you wrote them. Yeah, I don't see them here in the app. So I'm just going to go through very quickly. Unless you have them and you can transfer them there, so I could not have to take so much time there. We're going to try to end this in the next 5 minutes. Yeah, right. Michael just laughed at me. He said, yeah, right. Okay. So let's see if you all had any questions specifically. I'm going to ask questions specifically, answer the questions for Mount Shasta and the mission that we had going on there as individuals and as collectives. Oh, yes. The stigma behind the number 13. Whew. Yeah. Happy 13th. Thank you for reminding me. Happy 13th. Yes. We've talked about it in our channel. So definitely watch those channels and the information pass on that. There is some aura sessions that people talked about the number 13, the significance. Oh, there was a aura session where there was a somnambulist that spoke that the client, a beautiful, beautiful divine feminine, she spoke, and she didn't remember anything when she woke up, and Jesus spoke to her, and he talked about the number 13 on there. Okay, he also talked about the lies about Lucifer, and he talks about all that on there. So check out that hypnosis session, and you could check that out. It's a lady, okay, and it will be under the playlist, and it will have a title of Jesus. I believe it talks about the real truths or something, his teachings. Okay. Let me go back to MeWe. No, she hasn't shared them on there, so that's okay. I'll go through them. Okay. Okay. So, trying to see if you all have any questions on the trip. Oh, good. She wrote one. Thank you. Okay. How to live if cosmic energy and self-sustainability. Okay. I think I understand that question. So one of the things that we do as we're raising our consciousness, which talks about how to ascend and raise the consciousness. Now, we talk scientific point of view. So we start losing connection to our physical body. So remaining tethering between the physical body and the spirit, creating these beautiful threads, stitches of love, of energy, and that's what they're showing me from the raw. If you can imagine like this beautiful stitching, and it connects with the 7 chakras and the rays and the Aurora Borealis and the Schumann Resonance, remembering that you are part of this as well, and you can go within this Schumann Resonance. You could ride those waves beautifully and become one with it. Okay, so though you get still connecting to the energy above and then of the higher dimensions, and then remembering that you are a human here, and you are here to experience a human experience, which means go on a vacation. And even if you feel that you don't really have money for it to go on a vacation, think of ways you can go on a vacation just driving to a pond, driving to a beach. Those are ways that you can vacation yourself, and you can balance and heal yourself. Finding some time alone. Now, it's hard though, especially if you have little ones. However, there are 16 hours in a day. So think of things that you can remove that are no longer serving you for your highest path. And the majority of you have already done that. You know, remove the TV, the cable, the news, have already done that. So you're going to find time. And this is I'm going to give you a clue to how to, I'm going to give you a secret on how to make your time last longer. Okay. So I'm going to give you an example. So we were in a car, and Lily and I were in a car. We were driving back from Mount Shasta. We were going to, she was dropping me off in the airport that I was going to, that was 6 hours away. Now, in this time, what I do is I go into this frequency of just surrender, and I'm just going with the flow of information. And even if I'm replying to my emails, and even if I'm reading something, if I'm answering this, I'm going into this surrender where I forget time exists. And I move slowly. And when you start moving slowly, and you start going into this beautiful surrender and this beautiful oneness of the fact that time does not exist, and you're not worrying about, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, and so on, you slow down time. So what happens is that we were driving for 15 minutes, and I accidentally do that. I do this all the time when I'm working. A lot of you wonder, like, how do you do Aura hypnosis, host classes, all guided meditation, Akashic readings, work till 11 o'clock at night, doing classes and readings and certifications? I go into this brainwave where I am in deep surrender all day long. Now, I'm not saying I'm perfect and I'm there all the time, but for the majority, I sure am there. And what happens is that slows down time. So what happened is that she had to use the bathroom. Sorry, Lily, I'm sharing the story. And she's like, I'm holding in, I got to use the bathroom. And she finally questions me because she's like, did you just slow down time? Because the last 15 minutes, I just looked at the time, and it seriously has been an hour that we've been in the car, and it's only been 15 minutes. She's like, you need to stop doing that because I got to get to the bathroom. So it was funny because I just did it naturally. I went into this phase. I was like, Lily, I'm going to reply to my emails. I have to do this. I want to get some stuff done. And I was working just on my phone because that's what had, internet connection. And I accidentally slowed down the time. And then I explained to her, it's like, it's when we slow down that the time slows down. And it's like when we're in a rush, we're like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Let me go do this, let me go do that. And we're running around with our heads cut off, and that we're actually speeding up our time. We're speeding it up because we ourselves are moving so fast. Speeding it up. We are doing it to ourselves. But when we slow down time and we admire all the beauties that we're doing, the beauties around us, the nature around us, is when we are slowing it down. So yeah, it makes sense. I'm going to answer one more question. We're way past. We're about an hour and a half. So I'm going to try to have another live channeling with you all at some point. Don't know when it's going to happen. Oh, okay, so someone wants me to explain. Thank you, Lily. That saves time. She wrote, can you explain the divine feminine and masculine crystals? Okay. If you could imagine a fusion. I love Steven Universe. I don't know if you guys have ever watched Steven Universe. My children watch it. We love all the songs, and we love singing. We know every single song, and we know every single episode. So that is definitely a show I recommend. Okay, so what happens is through Steven Universe is that if you could imagine if the crystals fuse together. Okay, so for example, if I remember correctly, my daughter's always talking to me about it. Mom, which crystal makes which? So they explain in the show, it's on Cartoon Network, that when the crystal pearl, the gem pearl, fuses with rose quartz, yep, they turn into rainbow quartz. Okay, So if you can, and then they transform into this beautiful being, and they're bigger and stronger, and they have the combination of both crystals intertwined together. Okay. Now, when they do that, they become a mixture, a blend, a collective of these, both of the attributes of these. So if you can imagine every single crystal upon Earth, and it's fused, creating this beautiful cluster. That is what that looks like. And then remember, viewing it as a open mind, and then that connects to the rays, to the minerals, to the hormones, to that connect to all our pineal glands, to all our glands within the endocrine system, and it connects to all the laws as well. So remember, these are all beautiful pieces. And then Archangel Michael talked about the disconnection there. We talked about how they've gone through and disconnected all the ley lines there that connected to this cluster. So the more we do this, the more we are connecting to it. So hope you love that explanation. Okay, so she says that's pretty much it for the chest of questions. So that is all I'm going to be answering. And since that is the majority of the galactic update that they wanted to talk to you about today. Now with that, they want me to go out there and promote more. So I will be promoting in a form that I can promote not only the services that I offer, but the services that you can offer if you become certified. I am putting my website on sale, the whole entire website, and I have yet to ever do this. I am on the 13th today. We're putting everything off, 13% off, and we're going to run it all the way to the end of the month because that is okay. So we're promoting so that you can help. And thank you to everyone who has not only followed your heart to me and the teachings, and also have found some of the certified healers. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for sharing these videos. And you are a beautiful piece of what we are here and what we've been able to help the earth heal. And every day it becomes easier and easier for all of us. Now, I would like to open up, think about questions that you would like to, ways that you can ask some of these questions when the next live channeling will be most likely next Friday, but I'll see if I can squeeze one in. But I am fully booked this week though, which makes it really hard for me to squeeze anything in. So when we are, so yes, sorry, everything will be 13% off, including the Aura certification, which is huge. I already have it priced beautifully at a very good value. So 13% off. I'm going to announce it. I still have yet to create it. So within the next hour, I'm going to create it. I'm going to announce it on my Facebook page, my Facebook profile, and Rising Phoenix Angels. The coupon code, as well as on Patreon. The coupon code for that so that you can use it. If you want to be part of the emails that I'm going to send to all the people who have signed up, you want to go under my risingphoenixaurora.com and just make an account. That's all you have to do. You don't have to email me. You don't have to message me. Just make an account there through the Shopify website connection of the Rising Phoenix Aurora website. And then when then your name, your email will come up, and you will have updates as far as offers. But overall, any update that we have going on, we usually email that for y'all. Okay. Now, yes. Thinking of anything else. Let me go through the list that I had. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. So for the next channeling, I would like to open up some questions for you all. Now, you could write these questions when you see that there's an event coming up. You could write them there, or you could also write them live here when you come to the event live, and then we could include them in. We have lists of different questions that we have. So someone came up, Lily was talking to me about the recent Aura session that we had. If you haven't seen it, I titled it very unique higher self. That's what it's called. So the most recent aura session, there was questions to the aura session. So a lot of times you guys will see aura sessions and then there's questions to that. So I would love to include once a month where we go through aura hypnosis sessions, and because that was a very interesting session and people have questions on that, like how does this work, how does, so bring questions, perhaps write them down, and when you see that I'm going to have a live channeling on answering questions Q&A, that's the time that you want to have that. So we're going to include that once a month. So we're going to have live channeling benevolent beings. We're going to answer questions through aura hypnosis sessions, as well as overall you can feel free to also bring questions that you have through your spiritual developments. As overall, I'm not talking just me, through as a teacher, any teacher that you have questions about, not the teacher, I'm talking about the teachings or things that you have questions about. And then the live galactic updates. Okay, so we're going to be looking at about 2 benevolent beings a month in this time and space, maybe 1 to 2, and then more. I want to do more teachings one-on-one with you guys like this. Okay, love you all. Thank you all for who you were here, because even though you were in a Mount Shasta, you were part of that collective and that cluster, and you were aware that we were working there and that the portal was coming and the Schumann Resonance, and you were part of this. So thank you for being a subscriber of mine. We are looking to get up to the 6,000 subscribers, where we're going to give away a free readings at that time. So if you find beautiful connections to this in your heart, please tell your friends, your family about these channels, and have them subscribe so we could get up to that 6,000 subscribers that we're so close. We're about 400 away. Love you all. Please comment the beauties that you found to this live channeling, and you all know where to find me, risingphoenixaurora.com, and there you can find wherever else you can find me as well. Thank you all. I love you, I honor you, I thank you, and I respect you. Blessings to everyone. Thank you.